Hey Cosmic Crew, welcome back to We Are Cosmic, the place where we explore the universe of finance, cryptocurrencies, and everything in between. Today, I'm bringing you a very special update straight from XRP Community Day, where Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, made some bold and eye-opening statements about the future of Ripple and the role of XRP. If you're serious about understanding the next phase of crypto adoption and how institutions are starting to embrace this technology, then you're in the right place. Before we jump in, I want to thank every single one of you for your support, liking these videos, subscribing to the channel, and sharing your thoughts. Seriously, your support is what keeps this channel alive and allows me to bring you the deepest insights in crypto without any fluff. If you're in a position to invest in XRP, check out the link in the description for my favorite exchange. It's simple, secure, and beginner-friendly. Now let's dive into what made XRP Community Day such a major event. Brad Garlinghouse spoke openly about Ripple's potential and XRP's long-term role. For years, there's been criticism that Ripple only uses XRP to fund its business rather than fully integrating this groundbreaking technology. People often ask, if XRP is so important, why isn't it being used more by financial institutions? Today, Brad addressed this head-on. He emphasized that XRP is the North Star of Ripple, the guiding principle behind everything they do. But here's the key takeaway. Ripple's approach isn't about forcing institutions to adopt XRP immediately. It's about building trust and creating a bridge between traditional financial systems and the decentralized crypto world. This is actually a smart strategy. Think about it. Big banks like Bank of America or JP Morgan aren't crypto experts. They can't just switch overnight and adopt a new digital asset for payments and settlements. Ripple recognized this early on. Their goal has been to introduce these institutions to crypto safely, providing solutions they can trust, even if it doesn't directly involve XRP at first. Over time, once trust and awareness are established, these institutions are naturally guided toward using XRP. This gradual adoption strategy is what makes Ripple unique in the crypto space. Another highlight from Community Day was Brad's take on the Clarity Act. He believes there's a 75% chance it will pass before April, which aligns with my own analysis. This legislation is crucial because it provides regulatory clarity for crypto companies and financial institutions in the United States. Ripple is positioned perfectly to benefit from this, especially since they operate like a regulated banking entity and can offer services that exchanges like Coinbase cannot. Brad confirmed that despite some hurdles, all parties are now back at the table, moving in the right direction. Now let's talk about the institutional adoption of crypto. Brad explained that previously, financial institutions were focused on speculation, just buying assets and hoping they go up in value. But now, they are plugging into Ripple for liquidity solutions and understanding the unique advantages XRP offers compared to traditional financial systems. He compared XRP's transformative potential to the invention of email for communication. Just like email revolutionized how we exchange messages, XRP has the potential to revolutionize value transfer and cross-border payments. One of the most important things Brad highlighted is that Ripple's goal has always been to create a bridge from traditional finance to crypto. But this isn't your usual bridge that converts one currency to another. Instead, it's a bridge that allows trusted financial institutions to safely enter the world of decentralized finance. Most banks and institutions are not crypto experts. They operate in a highly regulated traditional environment, and they can't just switch to using digital assets overnight. Ripple understood this early on. Their strategy has been to gain trust first, provide solutions second, and then guide these institutions toward XRP. Think of it like onboarding a new client. You don't start by asking them to buy your premium product immediately. You build a relationship, show value, and guide them gradually. That's exactly what Ripple is doing. Many people criticize Ripple because some of their products don't immediately involve XRP, but Brad clarified that this is part of a long-term plan. The initial focus is on solving real problems for banks and institutions, building confidence in Ripple's solutions, and eventually leading them to adopt XRP once they're ready. Brad used a great analogy during Community Day. Imagine trying to get someone to buy season tickets for their favorite sports team. You don't force them to buy right away. Instead, you build trust by taking them to games, dinners, or events. Over time, they see the value, and eventually they purchase tickets. Ripple's approach with XRP is very similar. By providing financial institutions with tools that work today, even if they don't directly involve XRP, Ripple is laying the foundation for future adoption. Another key point Brad emphasized is that XRP is the North Star of Ripple. This means that everything Ripple does, every product they create, and every partnership they build is designed to eventually benefit XRP. Even when XRP isn't directly used today, it's always the guiding principle behind Ripple's decisions. The company isn't abandoning XRP, it's positioning it for maximum long-term impact. Now let's talk about why this matters for the crypto market. Many skeptics question Ripple's strategy. They ask, if XRP is so critical, why isn't it being used immediately? The answer lies in trust and compliance. Traditional financial institutions operate under strict regulations. They need a reliable partner who can help them integrate new technology safely. Ripple has become that partner. By building these bridges slowly and carefully, they ensure that XRP adoption is sustainable and credible rather than rushed and risky. Brad also discussed the role of the Clarity Act in this process. With regulatory clarity expected soon, financial institutions will have the confidence to adopt crypto solutions like XRP. Ripple is perfectly positioned to lead this wave of adoption because they have already built the infrastructure, relationships, and compliance measures needed to integrate traditional finance with decentralized networks. In short, Ripple's approach is strategic, patient, and forward-thinking. They are not chasing short-term hype or forcing adoption. Instead, they are carefully guiding institutions, solving real problems, and ensuring that when XRP adoption happens, it is meaningful and impactful. By treating XRP as the North Star, Ripple ensures that all their actions, products, and partnerships ultimately support the growth and value of XRP. Brad Garlinghouse made it very clear during Community Day that he envisions Ripple becoming a $1 trillion company in the future. That's not just hype, it's a vision grounded in Ripple's approach to building trust, relationships, and scalable financial solutions. Unlike many crypto projects that focus solely on retail adoption or speculative trading, Ripple is working directly with the most powerful financial institutions in the world. Think about it. They are connecting to banks, payment providers, and global enterprises that handle trillions of dollars in transactions. By creating this network and bridging it to the XRP ledger, Ripple is positioning XRP as the core utility token for real-world value transfer. Why is XRP central to this vision? Brad called XRP the beating heart of Ripple. Everything the company does, from partnerships to product development, is designed to eventually channel value to XRP. Even if an institution isn't using XRP today, Ripple is laying the groundwork for them to adopt it when the timing is right. This patient, strategic approach is what sets Ripple apart from other crypto projects that try to force adoption too quickly or focus purely on hype. To understand this better, think of Ripple's strategy like building a highway system. You don't just pave the road and expect cars to appear. You carefully plan the route, build bridges, create on-ramps, and ensure the infrastructure is strong. That's what Ripple is doing with XRP. They're creating a secure and compliant pathway for financial institutions to adopt blockchain technology while making XRP the natural choice once adoption grows. Brad also highlighted the broader transformation that XRP could bring to finance. He compared XRP's potential to the revolution of email in communication. Just like email replaced slower, traditional forms of messaging, XRP has the potential to redefine how money moves globally. Cross-border payments could become faster, cheaper, and more efficient. Banks and enterprises could finally move away from legacy systems that are slow, expensive, and limited by outdated infrastructure. XRP becomes the liquid, efficient solution for these problems. Another point Brad touched on is that Ripple is not trying to do everything at once. They are carefully integrating solutions that financial institutions can trust. For example, some of Ripple's products may not directly involve XRP at first, but they solve real problems for institutions, build confidence in Ripple's ecosystem, and pave the way for XRP adoption later. This approach shows Ripple's long-term thinking, patience, and understanding of how traditional institutions operate. Finally, let's talk about the price perspective. Brad hinted at the possibility that the market may go through shakeouts before big adoption waves. Historically, XRP has experienced these patterns: short-term volatility followed by long-term growth when adoption and clarity arrive. With the Clarity Act and increasing institutional involvement, Ripple is positioned to capture massive value in a regulated and sustainable way. For investors, this means understanding that XRP's growth is tied not just to speculation, but to real utility and adoption. One of the key points Brad Garlinghouse emphasized is that Ripple is not rushing adoption. Instead, they are taking a patient, methodical approach. Many people wonder why some Ripple products don't directly incorporate XRP. At first glance, it may seem like Ripple is neglecting its own token, but in reality, this is a deliberate strategy to build trust with financial institutions that are still cautious about entering the crypto space. Think about it this way. Most banks are used to traditional systems that are secure, regulated, and familiar. Suddenly introducing a new digital asset without guidance would create uncertainty and risk. Ripple recognized this challenge early on. Their solution? Provide tools and products that solve real problems today, even if XRP isn't used immediately. Over time, these institutions gain confidence in Ripple's ecosystem and are naturally guided toward adopting XRP. Brad gave a great example of this slow approach. Imagine trying to sell someone season tickets to their favorite team. You don't just hand them a ticket and expect them to buy in. You build trust first. Maybe take them to games, dinners, or other events that demonstrate value. Eventually, when the timing is right, they buy tickets. Ripple's products work the same way. They create solutions that institutions love, build trust, and prepare the ground for XRP adoption later. Another important point is compliance. Ripple is deeply committed to working within regulations. Unlike many crypto projects that rush to market, sometimes ignoring legal frameworks, Ripple has focused on creating solutions that are fully compliant with financial regulations. This is crucial for institutional adoption because banks and enterprises cannot risk non-compliance. By ensuring their products meet regulatory standards, Ripple is establishing itself as a reliable, trustworthy partner in the crypto world. Brad also mentioned that XRP is the North Star, guiding every product and partnership. Even when products don't immediately use XRP, their ultimate goal is to drive value back to XRP. This long-term perspective ensures that Ripple isn't just chasing short-term profits, it's strategically building a foundation for sustained growth. The genius of Ripple's approach lies in bridging traditional finance to decentralized finance. Financial institutions can gradually integrate blockchain solutions with Ripple as their guide. They don't need to become crypto experts overnight. Ripple provides the hand-holding infrastructure and education necessary to make this transition smooth and safe. By doing this, XRP adoption becomes a natural outcome rather than something forced or rushed. Finally, let's talk about the market implications. Many skeptics focus only on short-term price movements, but Brad hinted at the bigger picture. There may be market shakeouts before adoption spikes. Historically, XRP has gone through cycles of volatility followed by growth when clarity, adoption, and institutional involvement align. Ripple's careful strategy reduces risk, builds trust, and positions XRP to benefit massively in the long term. Brad Garlinghouse made it clear that XRP isn't just a token, it's a tool for efficiency, speed, and liquidity. Traditional cross-border payments are slow, expensive, and fragmented. Banks have relied on outdated networks that can take days to settle transactions and charge high fees. XRP solves this problem. It allows institutions to move money instantly, at a fraction of the cost, and with greater transparency. This alone is a game changer for global finance. Think of XRP like a digital bridge. When banks want to send money across borders, they usually need intermediaries and multiple currencies. This adds time and cost. Ripple uses XRP as a liquid asset that connects different currencies instantly, making transactions smoother and more predictable. This is why Brad emphasizes that XRP is the North Star of Ripple. It's the backbone that enables this financial revolution. Another point Brad raised is how Ripple is helping financial institutions enter crypto safely. Many banks are hesitant to adopt blockchain because they don't have the expertise or trust in untested systems. Ripple provides the infrastructure, compliance, and guidance necessary to make this transition smooth. Banks don't need to be crypto experts. They just plug into Ripple's solutions and XRP becomes the underlying tool for real value transfer. Brad also compared XRP's impact to email and communication. Just as email completely changed the way we exchange messages, XRP has the potential to change the way money moves globally. Imagine sending funds internationally in seconds, with near zero fees and full transparency. That's not the future. It's what Ripple is building today. And because they are working with major financial institutions, this adoption could scale quickly once the groundwork is fully in place. It's also important to understand that Ripple's approach is long-term and strategic. Some skeptics ask why XRP isn't being adopted by every bank immediately. The answer lies in trust and readiness. Banks need time to integrate new technology, test it, and ensure it aligns with regulations. Ripple's solution is to build relationships first, solve real problems, and gradually introduce XRP. This creates a sustainable adoption path that reduces risk for both banks and investors. From an investor's perspective, this is a critical insight. XRP's price and adoption potential are tied directly to real-world use cases, not just speculation. Once major institutions start leveraging XRP for cross-border payments, the demand and utility of XRP will increase dramatically. Brad believes this adoption could eventually position Ripple as a dominant player in the global financial system, setting the stage for significant long-term value creation. Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple have shown us that long-term value creation matters more than short-term hype. That's important because the crypto market often reacts emotionally to price swings. Investors see drops in panic or spikes in FOMO in. But Ripple's strategy is not about chasing temporary trends. It's about building a solid foundation that ensures XRP's utility, trust, and adoption grow over time. This perspective is key for anyone serious about crypto investing. One thing to note is that XRP historically experiences market shakeouts before major adoption waves. Brad hinted at this indirectly, noting that big institutional moves and regulatory developments often happen after temporary dips. For example, price corrections may occur before the Clarity Act passes or before major banks fully integrate Ripple's solutions. These moments can feel alarming, but in reality, they're part of the growth cycle of XRP. Recognizing this pattern helps investors stay calm and focused on the bigger picture. XRP's long-term price potential is directly tied to its real-world adoption. The more financial institutions plug into Ripple's network, the higher the demand for XRP as a liquidity tool. This isn't speculation, it's fundamentally driven growth. Unlike tokens that rely purely on hype, XRP's value is backed by use cases, infrastructure, and institutional trust. Once adoption scales, the price could reflect the enormous value being transferred across borders using XRP. Brad's vision of Ripple as a $1 trillion company is more than just a number. It's a reflection of the massive impact Ripple could have on global finance. With careful regulatory compliance, strong institutional partnerships, and XRP as the guiding North Star, the potential is enormous. In fact, some analysts, including myself, believe that Ripple could eventually exceed even these valuations if crypto adoption and digital finance continue to grow worldwide. Another key point from Community Day is that Ripple's strategy focuses on sustainable growth, not shortcuts. They are building trust with institutions, creating compliant products, and gradually guiding them toward XRP adoption. This patient, deliberate approach is why XRP could see consistent long-term growth, rather than being subject to volatile, unpredictable pumps and dumps. For investors watching XRP, this is critical. Don't get caught up in day-to-day price fluctuations. Instead, understand that Ripple is laying the groundwork for massive future adoption. The technology is proven, the relationships are strong, and regulatory clarity is on the horizon. When the broader market realizes the scale of Ripple's impact, XRP adoption could accelerate, creating significant value for holders who understand the long-term story.